So in this video, I'm going to be briefly walking through how to limit your searches and your options within your security groups, and also how to filter them out from your menus, such as your quick search, your quick search builder, and your new menu just here. So you want to try and make these as simple as possible for people that are going to be using it. You do need to have every option on the new or the search or the quick search option that anyone will be using. So if I might be using the incident option, but Joe Smith might not, the incident option still needs to be available on the quick search and the new menu in order for me to be able to access that. But I can restrict it from Joe by using the security group. So this is done against each individual object. So the best way of doing this is to select what you've got, and then just sort of take a clip of what it is that you want to remove. And so I know where I'm working, right? So I don't want to show customer contract anymore, or work item, or reporting, because all of these are now defunct, let's say. So I can strike those out, and then I know for reference what I'm removing. So if I go into the admin client here, I can go to that particular object. So let's start with the customer contract, and I can choose under the current view of default, I can choose to edit the business object, choose business object properties up here. And here I can see show on new menu, show in search manager, and then also if you click search results, there is a show in quick search option. So the show in new menu obviously does this one here. Show in search manager will do the more complex one up here, so search manager or quick search builder, depending on which one you prefer to use. And then the search results option here for showing quick search will limit what appears on this menu just here. So if I want to remove it from all three of those, I can simply untick those boxes, click OK. And then with my blueprint, if I go to blueprint changes up here, I can see I've only made a change to that particular object. And if I save and publish this, that object will be removed from these lists. The next thing to do, I'm just going to close this blueprint so I don't apply it, is to set up your security groups in a way that will restrict them from being able to see those particular objects. So for example, if I'm a service desk employee and I don't want to be seeing the reporting object, and I only want that to be available to, let's say, your admin or your service desk manager, for example, if you have that group, then I can remove that object from visibility completely. So that means that no person with the service desk security group will be able to see that object at all, or any of its corresponding fields. The only issue with this, though, is that if you do remove it and something else does reference that object that the user is trying to see, or a one step that the user is trying to run, for example, then they won't be able to fulfill that run, because they won't be able to know what they're running against. You have to think of this as a complete partition of these objects from that particular security group. So if I just go to business objects here, I can choose the business object that I want to remove. So let's use customer contract. And if I choose no viewing, no adding, no editing, for example, and go to the new field, and I want to untick there as well. If I click save, that'll make the customer contract invisible to me completely. None of the records will be available. The object won't be available, nothing will be available for me. This is a good way of removing what you don't want from certain groups. So if you have, for example, a group that is only supposed to be focusing on one area of the business, for example, they are the CMDB group, then we don't necessarily need the CMDB group to have access to the customers or to the incidents. The caveat there, though, is if you have the CMDB group having access to a CMDB object which links to a customer and links to incidents, then they won't be able to see those incidents and customers that they're linked to. So it depends on what you want with how you set this up, but ultimately you can choose basically whatever rights you want from this business objects section here. and you can choose to view, add, and edit. The differences between these is that view will give you vision of that record, add will allow them to add a record, and edit will allow them to edit existing records. Where it says new field here applies to every field below it. So this is kind of like the default setting for each of these options. If you choose to untick edit here, let's say I do that, you can see that now all of these options have removed it, but I can choose to allow them to edit one field, for example, and the other fields will still be unavailable, but this one will be available now. So this is good for if you want them to only be able to edit certain fields within an object. For example, they're allowed to edit the customer's phone number, but they're not allowed to edit the customer's name. Again, though, it is important to make sure that all these settings are based on what your business needs are, as well as the way that this is set up is also important to be done in a way that will allow you to see what you need to, but without being able to see too much. If there's things that you use less often, for example, such as for me, I use service less often. So I've removed it from the quick search option here, but I can see services by going to quick search builder and then service down here. That's just a different way of being able to do it. Just being able to make it a little bit simpler for what you can see in the quick search. So obviously the way that I did that, if I just create a new blueprint here and go to the service option, edit business object properties, I can see it is available in the search manager, but it's not shown on the new menu. And if I go to search results, it's not shown in quick search. So by doing that, you can still create a new business object if you have the right to. So if I go to quick search builder here, choose service, delete this current operand, click OK. I can still create a new service if I want to, but it's not in this drop down list here. So it just does save me a little bit of space and make things a little bit less confusing for me. Hopefully this helps. Cheers.